Nice to meet you. I'm
You as
Jess.
well. Hi.
And you are?
Julia.
Julia.
Yes.
I'm happy you're here today, Julia.
Thank you.
Before we get started, I have some quick things. We're going to go over some papers for you to sign. One is our confidentiality agreement.
Okay.
That ultimately says that what we discuss here stays between the two of us, unless you mention that you're planning to hurt yourself, someone else, or that you mention that there's harm being done to a minor, an elderly person, or a disabled person. So I'll have you sign that. And the other one is informed consent. If it's okay with you, we're going to videotape our session today. Ultimately, it will be shown to an interviewing class. I'm a student at the Chicago School of Professional Psychology, and my teacher and some classmates will take a look at it, not because they're taking a look at you, but because we're going to be going over some things that we've been learning over the course of the semester. So if that's okay by you, we can stop at any time. It's voluntary on your part, so if you feel uncomfortable at any time with being videotaped, just let me know and we'll stop.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Do you have any questions before we get started?
I don't think so.
Okay. Then what brings you in today? Oh, additionally, sorry, just to let you know, there will be a lot of questions that I'm going to ask you today, and I may take some notes. It's just so that we can ultimately tailor your treatment for future sessions.
Okay.
So yeah, what brings you in today?
Well, I've been feeling just like really sad. For like the last 6 months, my fiance left me and was seeing someone else. So I've just been feeling like really sad about that. Kind of like hopeless.
I'm so sorry. That is understandably devastating.
Yeah.
When did this occur?
About 6 months ago. So I've been feeling this way for quite a while, and I just figured at this point it would probably be about time to come talk to someone.
Okay. When you say you've been feeling this way, like kind of you've been feeling what exactly?
Just kind of just really sad and kind of hopeless. I'm not really, I don't feel like myself, so I've just been, I guess, spending a lot of time alone. I feel like after breakups, it's probably normal to feel sad for a while, and then I just eventually, like, these feelings haven't really stopped, and I feel like 6 months is kind of a long time to be experiencing them, so that's kind of what has led me to be here.
That's good that you understand it is completely normal to have these kinds of feelings after a breakup, but I'm getting from you that you feel like they're going on too long.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you notice a change right around the time of the breakup? Did it take a little bit before you started to notice?
Well, I think I was like feeling really sad when it happened. I thought we were, obviously I thought we were gonna get married, and so I had this like whole vision of the rest of our life happening together, and then that just was kind of taken away. I almost feel like I was grieving because, we're not talking at all anymore, and so it's going from someone you're seeing constantly, talking to all the time, to then not seeing them at all or talking to them all, so it almost feels like, in a sense, that they've like died. So I'm feeling, the feelings were definitely there when it first happened, but they've persisted since then.
And honestly, I think grieving is such an accurate word to use. I think a lot of times people think that they're supposed to just get over a breakup and move on right away, but you're losing somebody really important.
Yeah.
And so I think it can be hard to kind of delineate between what's just due to the breakup and what's kind of like something else.
Yeah, definitely.
As well.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take a little break from kind of what's currently going on.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you some questions about your background, and additionally ask you some questions that might seem kind of strange even, but it's ultimately just to help us move move forward with
Yeah.
things.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you can tell me what day of the week it is,
Monday,
and what month,
November
and what year,
2019,
what building are we currently in?
Merchandise Mart.
I'm going to say the name of 3 objects.
Okay.
And have you repeat them to me.
Okay.
Face, velvet, church.
Face, velvet, church.
Okay. And then remember those.
Okay.
I'm going to ask them again
Okay.
in a few moments. Can you make up and tell me a sentence, please?
Today the sky is blue and there are lots of clouds in the sky.
Lovely. Take as much time as you need, but if you could please count backwards by 7 from 100.
Okay. 93, 86, 79, 72, 65.
That's good.
Okay.
I know that makes a lot of people anxious. And what were the 3 objects that I asked you to remember before?
Face, velvet, church.
Very good. Okay, and then moving on to some background information on you.
Yeah.
What gender do you identify with?
Female.
Okay, and your pronouns?
She, her.
Okay. What is your sexual orientation?
I'm straight, heterosexual.
Okay. What is your occupation? What do you do for work?
I'm a server.
Okay. How long have you done that?
2 years.
Okay. What do you normally enjoy doing in your free time?
I really enjoy going to yoga, spending time outside, reading, I meditate, going for walks, doing art if I have time.
Those are great hobbies.
Yeah.
Meditating is one of those things I've been meaning to get better at myself. It's such a good practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any medical issues that I should be aware of?
I think I have like an aversion to gluten, but that's really kind of it.
Okay. Have you ever had any major surgeries or spent time in the hospital?
Yes, I had my ACL repaired when I was in high school, and then I've had my tonsils out.
Do you drink?
Yes.
And about how many drinks per week would you say?
Oh, probably like 5.
Do you take recreational drugs?
No.
Have you ever abused any drugs or substances?
I've used them. I wouldn't say abused.
Okay. Who would you describe as your most significant relationship?
The one that I just got out of.
Okay.
Yep.
And besides him, who would be sort of your second?
I had one in college, but it wasn't like all that serious, I guess.
Okay.
Or I guess maybe it was more serious than I thought it was. Maybe. I'm not sure.
Okay. How about friends?
I have lots of friends. I'm very close with them. I spend a lot of time with them. Definitely people I hold very close to me.
Friends you've known a long time, friends you've met over the years?
Both. Yeah. Some new friends, some old.
Okay. Do you feel comfortable chatting with them about kind of what you've been going through?
Yeah,
lately?
definitely. Yeah, they've been really supportive.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful. It's
Yeah.
really good to have. I think a lot of people can want to keep their feelings in if they're negative.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really good if you have people that you can talk about things with, not feel so lonely.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see. What can you tell me? And sorry that we will need to discuss your ex, but what can you tell me about him?
We were together for 4 years. He's a chef or a sous chef at a Michelin-starred restaurant, so he's really busy. We were planning on getting married, talked about that a lot, and he left me for someone else, so that has been really challenging. Yeah, I mean, I thought our relationship was pretty good, but evidently it wasn't.
What were the good things about your relationship?
We were very supportive of each other. I definitely like supported him financially the majority of the time, which maybe then made me resent him. So it's definitely something that I would like to kind of resolve and within myself. He made me laugh. We took lots of vacations together, so good memories, I guess.
Okay. And I'm sorry if you said so. How long had you been together?
4 years.
Okay. How about who makes up your immediate family?
My mom and my stepdad, but I call him Dad.
Okay. Has he, how long has he been your stepdad?
Since I was like 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me 3 words to describe your mom.
She is supportive, persistent, and speaks her mind.
And what's your relationship like with her?
I kind of like yo-yos back and forth. I think that it's strong sometimes, but then sometimes maybe I overshare with her, so she kind of has a little bit too much of a say in like my choices and what I'm doing. So that can be challenging for us. I mean, excuse me, I tell her everything, and maybe that's too much, but I don't have any sisters or anything, so she's kind of the closest person I have.
Gotcha. And has your relationship always pretty much been that way?
Yeah, when we we immigrated here from Russia when I was like 14, so that was like an experience for us. So we've been through a lot together, so we understand each other in kind of like a different way, I think, than maybe some other mother-daughter relationships.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. And how about your stepdad, who you refer to as Dad? 3 words that you'd use to describe him.
Yeah. Loving, troubled, supportive.
Okay.
Yep.
Tell me about troubled.
He's attempted suicide 3 or 4 times, so he's clinically depressed pretty severely. So that has like a heavy toll on our family.
What's your relationship like with him overall?
It's very loving. I love him very much. I mean, it's a pretty positive relationship. He's just depressed, so he's sad a lot of the time, but he's always shown me like love and respect, so I appreciate that.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you talk about like his depression with him, or is it one of those things that happens and you're aware of it, but it doesn't get discussed?
It's kind of in between. We talk about it sometimes. I just kind of check in to see how he's doing, but we don't ever have like deep conversations about it. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, that's tough.
Thanks. Yeah.
Do you have any? You said no sisters, any brothers?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you said that your stepdad has experienced kind of like similar symptoms to maybe what you're experiencing now. Do you notice any correlation with like ways that he's felt and ways that you feel now?
I would say his is like much more severe than what I'm feeling now. So, yeah, I mean, some similarities, but I don't, I wouldn't say that like he and I are on the same level in the way we're feeling. Yeah.
And your related family, grandparents, aunts, uncles, does anyone else have mental health issues?
I honestly am not sure. It's not really talked about very much in my culture. So, as far as I know, probably well, as far as I know, probably not. But like, it's very possible that they do, and we just don't talk about it. And also, a lot of them live in Russia, so I don't see them very often.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not really sure.
Okay. Do you have any traditions that you practice as a family that are sort of related to your culture or ethnicity?
Not really, no.
No? How about religion?
No, I am atheist.
Okay.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about your childhood? What was that like?
It was pretty rough. We grew up very, very poor in Russia. My mom was a gynecologist there, so she did have a job, but sometimes we didn't like have food, so that was very challenging. We moved here when I was 14, so had to kind of like completely readjust to a different culture. And that was really intense. And my mom couldn't, like, her license as a doctor didn't, like, transfer to the United States. So she just became a teacher. But living in Russia was very difficult, and my biological father was not around. He like left my mom while she was pregnant. So it was just me and her for quite a while until she met my stepdad, or who I call dad. So that was hard.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Do you have any happy memories from childhood? They can even be memories after you immigrated.
Yeah, I took ballet when I was younger, so that brought me a lot of joy. I was very happy to move here, just like for the opportunity. So that's been super valuable.
Yeah. Anything in particular that you can think of? Birthdays, holidays, anything, that stands out?
Yeah, I guess, I mean, like, within our culture, holidays weren't super celebrated, so there was some positive, I mean, we did celebrate my birthday, but it wasn't, like, this big deal. But I wouldn't say it was, like, a negative childhood. I just don't, I'm not sure.
And it sounds like from what you've described that it was a struggle while you were living in Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the reason why you moved to the U.S., or was there some other reason?
Oh, I mean, it was just like a combination of that and like the political climate. Like, my mom just didn't want us to live there forever. She wanted to give me the opportunity to be like free and have my own experience here, where I could choose kind of whatever career I wanted and go to college and whatnot.
And did you have any kind of community or friends, family, anyone from Russia here, or was it
No, it was just us. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that would likely be it, but I was going to ask if there was anything else that would be special, unusual, or traumatic as far as an experience goes that affected your development over time.
Probably just my dad not being around. Okay. Yeah.
Have you ever had contact with him, or he?
No, not really. He just kind of tried to find me on Facebook, but he was using a different name, so that was kind of strange. But I'm not really interested in talking to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about what it was like moving here from Russia? I know you said that you struggled sort of assimilating and being in school. Can you tell me any specific things about that?
Yeah, so my mom and stepdad and I moved when I was 14, and we kind of, I mean, it wasn't like a big move. We didn't have a lot of stuff, so it was like suitcases on the plane, moved to a different country. We stayed in a hotel for a little while, and then got into some into an apartment. My mom got a job, but we didn't have really anything set up before we moved here. So there was definitely, like, thinking about it now as a kid, I didn't really, like, I wasn't super concerned, but because, like, we were moving to the US, so I thought it was just going to be, like, everything was going to be fine. So, like, I didn't, like, in retrospect, it is obviously, like, a more concerning situation than I realized as a kid. But we got on our feet relatively quickly in Michigan, and I started high school, but I had to be in, like, English as a second language courses so I could learn English. And that was hard because I wouldn't say that I was, like, bullied, but it was really hard for me to make friends because, like, I was othered, and so I was, like, in the English as a second language classes, and people were kind of, like, judgmental, I guess, but so it was really hard for me to make friends, so that was really difficult. And then I was also having to take, like, other classes that, like, were not translated into my own language, so it was just, like, I had no choice but to learn English, so that was definitely difficult.
Did your mom and stepdad like learn the language fairly quickly?
Yeah, we like, I learned it a little bit in Russia, but it was obviously not, like, our dominant language, so we all had to do that, to, like, learn it. So we did practice together, which was helpful. But I mean, I think about it now, how difficult it is to learn a language as an adult. I can't imagine, like, what they were experiencing. Must have been very challenging. And then my mom had to go from, like, being a gynecologist in Russia to, like, being a school teacher. Eventually she was able to, like, take her boards here, and she passed, but she was, like, too old to get a job as a doctor, so she teaches now. So it was definitely a stressful experience. I don't know if I would call it, you did ask me about trauma. I don't know that I'd call it traumatic, but it was, again, in retrospect, probably a little bit traumatic, going through, living in poverty and then having to move here, like, with nothing, and then kind of just, like, scrape it together.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
Did you miss things about Russia? Did you have friends, any family?
Yeah, I think I missed, like, my mom's sisters and stuff, and my cousins, but again, they also lived, like, the country's enormous. They lived in different areas, so we didn't see them a whole lot. Yeah.
So what can you remember about, when did you start to make friends here?
When I started dancing, so I took ballet. I did that in Russia, and then like, continued that here, so that helped me kind of gain some friendships for sure. Okay. Yeah, and that was big because I don't have any siblings, so that was important for me to have.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then, what's the highest degree of education you received?
I have my bachelor's degree.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what did you study in college?
Hospitality.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you enjoy it? Did you know right away
I
that's
did, yeah. Well, I kind of was, I was interested in it then, and I've managed restaurants before, but now I've gone back to serving because managing was not as good of money and it was stressful. So um, I don't particularly want to do that with my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned maybe wanting to work with animals. Is that something that came up recently, or have you always kind of been that way?
I've always loved them, and like if I had enough money in the world, I would just like have a farm and like take care of animals, but I don't have that right now, so not sure how I can get into that field, but I'm sure it would bring me a lot of joy.
Yeah. Did you ever have any pets or anything?
Yeah, I actually have 2 cats right now. I would love a dog, but I'm not allowed to have one in my building. So just stick to the cats right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a dog growing up, or like when I was in high school, we got a dog. She's still alive, so that definitely was big for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it specifically about animals that brings you joy?
I think they just like bring a level of calmness to me and can sense your emotions. So I just enjoy being around them.
They are very special.
Yes. Yeah.
How do you sort of relate to your Russian background now? Is it a part of your life at all?
Kind of. I mean, I don't have like any particular cultural things that we celebrate or traditions or anything. So, I don't know. I was pretty focused on becoming American when I moved here as a child. So, my Russian is, like in speaking terms, is very weak now comparatively. Like I'll get on the phone with my aunt or something and I have trouble keeping up because I just haven't like kept up with practicing my Russian. I haven't been back there, so I'm not really, I don't know. Obviously it's an important part of who I am, but I just don't have a huge connection with it anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you could come up with a word that would describe sort of your feelings about your ethnicity, is there anything that comes up?
I guess maybe just like a little bit like embarrassed. Like Russia's not very well received in the United States, so I think I felt like when I was a kid that like I didn't want people to know that about me because people look down on Russia, and like now you look at politics now and like it's almost worse. So I think that was for me something like I just am not really interested in people knowing a lot about. And like I don't know, when I see Russian people, I'm not like super excited to like go tell them that I'm also Russian, because you don't see a lot of Russian people in the U.S., at least who are just like visiting. So I don't know.
Okay, so is it safe to say that you more comfortably identify with being American?
Yes, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right. And how long have you worked in restaurants for?
Oh, like 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you've served and managed, but you
Yeah.
didn't like managing because it wasn't as good of money.
Yeah, and it was like so much more stressful.
I can see that.
Yeah.
So is that difficult in like not really seeing that's kind of where you'd move to if you were moving up the ranks in the restaurant system?
Yeah. So I'm just trying to figure out like I'm in so much debt from college that I don't know, like sure I'd like to go back to school and like get my master's in something, but I just am not interested in like acquiring the additional debt for it. So I'm just trying to figure out what is gonna like make me happy as a career. So I definitely feel a bit stuck.
Those are the big questions, you know, that's everybody struggles with those, but you know, I have the feeling that in the work that we do, it'll help you gain a little bit more of a clearer picture of what that looks like.
Yeah.
And additionally, you know, especially if you love working with animals, there's
Yeah.
so many volunteer kinds of things
Yeah.
that you can do to get started in that
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah.
So tell me about your friends.
I definitely like value having friends. They're important to me. They've been really supportive through this time for me. I'm very blessed that I have friends who are supportive and have been helpful to me through this time. They've definitely pushed me to like seek therapy and treatment for the way I'm feeling. So that has definitely been like beneficial. I do see the way I'm feeling impacting those relationships, though. It's just harder for me to reach out to people or kind of want to talk to people. So, I do see that impacting those relationships, and I do want to work to, be more proactive in communicating with everyone. So that's something I definitely sits at the front of my mind a lot.
And what does your friend group look like? Is it one primary group of people, or do you have friends in different circles that you spend
it's kind of like
with?
friends in different circles. Some friends from work, some friends from college. So I definitely have like close people in both circles. So I kind of like float around. But that brings me joy. I like meeting new people and making new friends. So that's been helpful for me.
Is there anything that you can think of that's challenging about any of your friendships? I wouldn't say there's like anything particularly challenging. I'm probably challenging for people to deal with right now, I would say. I have a lot of, I guess I have some baggage right now, so that can be difficult to be around, and people may not want to be around someone who's like so sad and hopeless all the time. So that's definitely something I want to work on and improve to kind of like get back on track with my relationships. Yeah. But you said you feel like your friends have really been there for you.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
Nice that they suggested that you come to therapy.
Yes, definitely.
Sounds like a really good group of friends.
No, they're good people for sure.
Nice. Yep. And how is your relationship with like your manager at work?
It's fine. Yeah, nothing abnormal or anything. They know what's going on, so they've been relatively supportive. But at this point, it's like been 6 months, and it's time to like move on. So I know that that's probably something they're feeling.
Okay. Going back to talking about your boyfriend a little bit more. Yeah. How did you two meet?
Met just after college. We actually were set up by two of our friends. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
And was it fireworks right off the bat?
Yeah, I would say so. And then we started dating. We moved in together like 2 years ago, and I thought the rest was history, but I guess it wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
In retrospect, do you see anything that you think, oh, I wish I'd noticed that sooner? Or
he wasn't a great communicator, so he didn't always effectively relay how he was feeling, so that could be very challenging because I'm very open about my feelings and thoughts, and so getting him to do that as well was hard, and that's definitely something that was a barrier in our relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything in his life or his past that you think affected your relationship or the breakup?
His family is like really closed off about emotions. They don't talk about emotions. They don't, it's like their culture doesn't respect that or want that. like your business is your business and you shouldn't be sharing it with anyone else.
And what is his culture?
He's Mexican.
Okay.
Yeah.
How is your own family, your parents, reacting to how you've been feeling?
My mom wanted me to like go to therapy or get on medication because she's seen how it's been beneficial for my stepdad. So, we've Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Getting back to what you're currently experiencing post breakup.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced symptoms like these before? Or is this the first time?
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, maybe like when I was when we immigrated here, I was like dealing with some anxiety or just like general challenges of adjusting, but I've never felt like this way, so sad before.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did that anxiety look or feel like?
I think I was just stressed out about fitting in and then also like assimilating and being able to develop like an American culture for myself. Learning English, all of those things.
Yeah.
So it was just stressful, I think, as to go through that as like an adolescent and also go through being an adolescent at the same time.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And did you stay in the same location or move around once you got to the States?
We stayed in the same place, yeah. We moved to Michigan and stayed there.
Okay. Yep. All right. How you're currently feeling affecting different aspects of your life? Is there anything that stands out?
I mean, I sleep until like 3 p.m. every day, just in time to get up and like go to work at 5. So granted, I do work late, but I don't really have a desire to like get out of bed. I definitely am like not super interested in going to work. I'm not really interested in like exercising as much, and that used to be a huge part of my life, so I'm just like not really interested in doing that anymore. I also like have been eating way more. And then sometimes like I won't sleep at all. It really just depends, but most of the time it's like excessive amounts of sleep, I would say. Yeah. So it's definitely affecting my life in other ways.
Sure. Yeah. What did regular sleeping look like before now?
I definitely still slept a lot before, but not like 14 hours. It would be like 8, like a normal amount. Yeah.
It sounds like your energy level has been fairly low.
Mm-hmm.
Once you're at work, how are you functioning there?
I guess since it's been quite a while, I've just had to adjust. So, I've been like doing okay. I haven't been sent home or anything, but I do feel like I don't really want to be there. I don't know if that shows or not, but it's hard for me to focus.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you say it's hard for you to focus, can you give me an example?
Oh, just like forgetting people's orders or forgetting to do something. I just like my mind is elsewhere.
And how do you feel about that?
It's definitely frustrating. It's making me, I mean, this is not a career I want to be in forever, so I'm wanting to look for another job that's going to bring me like some more joy, but I just don't have the energy to do that right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you had any thoughts? I mean, I know you don't have a lot of energy to focus on it right at the moment, but Previous to now, have you thought of any other careers that you might be interested in?
I really enjoy working with animals, but I don't really know like what that would look like as a career. But that's something that brings me a lot of joy. So right now I'm just not totally sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You said that you've been eating a lot.
Mhm.
Can you tell me what that looks like?
I'm just eating a lot more than I normally do. Yeah.
3 meals a day.
Yeah, just like kind of like binging at night.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you feel after you do that?
I mean, not great. But in some respect, it like makes me feel better. So that's probably why I'm doing it.
Okay. It helps you feel better while you're doing it?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. How about on a scale of 1 to 10?
Mhm.
How would you rate your symptoms, with 1 being, you can get through days just fine, you feel pretty good about things, and 10 being completely awful, you feel completely hopeless?
I'm probably like a 7 right now, 6 or 7. Yeah.
Alright. And have you had any particularly difficult experiences since the onset of these symptoms? I mean, the breakup itself is a difficult experience, but in the last few months, have you had like a particularly low point?
Not. I mean, it's kind of all blurred together. I've had. I guess I'm not like as social as I was before, so maybe like my friendships, I'm having trouble maintaining them as well as I was before. I'm just not really in the mood to be out and about seeing people.
Okay. Have you had any like particular evening when you know that your friends have been out that you felt any certain way about that, or you just kind of?
Kind of once I make the choice not to go, I don't really think about it as much anymore. I mean, I'd like to be able to go, but I just don't feel like it or want to really.
Okay. Do you want to see your friends?
Yeah, but I just don't always want to do what they are doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you been able to find some things that you've enjoyed doing with them, or environments that just feel better than others?
I'm okay with like having them come over to my apartment and spend time together there, but I'm not really as much wanting to like leave the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. How about since you started feeling this way, has there been a time that you can think of where you were really managing your symptoms well, or anything you found that helped you even temporarily feel better?
I've been like trying to meditate, but my focus hasn't been very good, but I know that it will help me, so I continue to do it. So sometimes it's helpful, sometimes I just can't focus.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're still keeping up with it even?
Yeah.
That's really impressive.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's hard to do. And it's good. They've done research that says that meditation is really good for your brain.
Yeah.
And so even in working through what you're experiencing right now, that will benefit you.
Yeah,
as a
definitely.
practice.
Yeah.
What is your boyfriend up to now? Do you have any contact with him?
No, I don't talk to him at all anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have similar social circles? Do you run into him at all?
Not really. I've kind of tried to separate myself a little bit from like his friends, but I still hear from them, but I certainly am not like gonna be going to events that he'll be at. But no, I mean I don't hear from him at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were those first few days like after the breakup?
They were just like really awful, and I kind of thought I was stuck in a bad dream.
Have you, over the course of the last few months, ever had any ideas about suicide?
I don't, not really. I mean, I definitely have thought about it before, but not in a way that I want it to happen. It's just more of a, oh, like, what would life be like if, like, I wasn't here, or would this be easier if I wasn't here?
Sure. A lot of people have those thoughts. It's very normal.
Yeah.
As far as a plan of any kind, do you have any thoughts about that?
No. 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 I mean, again, just thinking about like what it would be like if I wasn't here or something, but I don't intend to like act on that or figure out a way to do it.
Okay. And so, why have you sought therapy right this moment?
I think it's just I've gotten to the point where I'm kind of sick of feeling this way and would like to resolve some issues to make sure that I don't feel like this in the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts about what those issues might be? It's completely fine if you don't. We'll figure out what we need to work on, but
yeah, I mean, I definitely have like some unresolved issues from my past. I'm sure like not having a relationship with my biological father, feeling like he abandoned me, plays into a lot of my like issues. I think that I'd like to work on maybe setting some boundaries with my mother and how to make that like a more positive relationship instead of one kind of like balled up by stress. I'd like to work on just becoming more self-aware because that's probably one of the reasons that my relationship didn't work. So I'd like to work on that so that hopefully in the next relationship I have, I maybe don't impose things because I'm just not self-aware.
okay. Have you ever been to a counselor before?
I went to one like about a year ago, but I just didn't. I couldn't relate to her. She was older than me, and like I cried in the first session, and she just like made me really uncomfortable. So I decided not to go back to her, and then am now just feeling like it's time to see someone again.
And what made you seek out therapy a year ago?
I just felt like I should. I don't. It was just like it wasn't really feeling like any type of way, just wanting to try and work on myself, I guess.
Okay. That's really good.
Yeah, thanks.
If you could wake up tomorrow and feel healthy again, what would that day look like?
Oh, I'd probably like wake up and meditate and then make myself breakfast and coffee and maybe go for a walk, maybe go to yoga, go to work with like a positive attitude, spend some time with my friends, and then sleep like a normal amount and wake up feeling rested. Yeah.
Sounds like a lovely day.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, well, we've got a few minutes here before we end the session. So I just wanted to check in. It sounds like obviously because of the breakup, you have some things that you want to work through there.
Mm-hmm.
You want to work on some sort of skills and self-awareness,
Mm-hmm.
work on your relationship with your mom,
Mm-hmm.
and generally maybe work out some issues that might be related to your dad.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that there's anything that we didn't cover or anything important that I should know in wrapping up here?
No, I think those are like pretty specific, definitely things that need a lot of work in my life and that I want to kind of unpack more to understand myself a little bit better.
That sounds good. Well, I am confident that we will get you feeling better. It sounds like you're experiencing some symptoms of depression, perhaps, and luckily, that is typically a very, very treatable thing. So, I feel really good about this, and we'll work together on all of these things in the next few weeks and see how you're feeling. If you continue to feel really down, we might take a look into referring you out to a psychiatrist for medication.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll start here and work through some things, just the two of us, and see how you're feeling, but we'll get you to feeling better. Okay? So I'll see you same time here next week.
Okay.
It was nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.